Well, hello and welcome to the Brand Breakthrough Show. Let's give this another go. Trying this Be Live software isn't quite working out so far. It seems to be munching up all my internet. So hopefully you can see me and all will be working now. I will just wait for you to catch up and see that I am actually on this channel instead of the other one. Hopefully it's going to work. I was going to share my screen, which was why I was using the Be Live channel. Hi Lubna, hi Carol. But I'm not quite going to be able to do that with you whilst doing it on my phone. But I figure it's more important that you get the information on how to really brand yourself and start selling your products and services quickly. I really wanted to get you that information. So hopefully at some point or another you will see the slides to this presentation. But ultimately, I want to make sure that you get what you need to be able to move forward. So hello, and welcome to this week's Brand Breakthrough Show. I am super excited to share this information with you. This is something that I put together, oh my goodness, about 2 years ago. And hi Asha, I put it together about 2 years ago, and I've delivered this training in many countries and to many people. And as a result of this training, it's quite in depth, it's very strategic, but as a result of it, so many entrepreneurs have then gone out and followed this strategy and done the most amazing things. And this is actually the strategy this is like, we're really chunking up for this because obviously there was a lot of detail. Hi Vicky. There was a lot of detail in the strategy that I used to actually roll it out. Hi Carol. When I first started how to build a brand. And what I've gone on to do is I've used this strategy again and again, and I've tweaked it and I've changed it and I've upgraded it, and I've continued to improve it to the point that I've got it now. And this is what I still do it every 12 weeks. I sit down, I focus on how I'm gonna achieve greater impact, how I can influence in a better way. Hi Chris. And in a way that really supports you and nurtures the entrepreneurs that I care about, that I really want to go out there and really build that brand you want to see in the world. And it's also important, most of you on here at the moment are Brand Builders Club members. I do the same process that I train you to do when you come to the quarterly members days. So we've just printed out our next sheets for us to fill in, because our 12 weeks aren't necessarily on the same as yours, because depending on where you are in the world, we start ours at different times. And when you're, for those of you that are also coming to the planning event, the Vision, Voice and Visibility Summit in December, we're going to be really stepping into the future, looking at that next 12 months, so that the Brand Builders Club can then support every 12 weeks to keep you on track. Rob, I hope that Rob can come and join us. What I might have to do, Asha, is just keep an eye on the chat. Let me just sign into Facebook on my computer as well and make sure that if anybody is wanting to join, if you want to invite other people to be a part of this broadcast and receive the, hi Sarah, receive the information as well, they will need to request access to the group. So let me just make sure that I haven't got any requests in there that might need to be accepted before we can get started. Or just let me know if there's somebody that you've invited and they need access to it, then just let me know. But you can literally, if you just send them the link, facebook.com/groups/how to build a brand with no spaces, then they'll get direct access to be able to come and join us. So yes, I'm super juiced about this conversation we're having today, because let me just turn the volume on that down, because this strategy is what is responsible for how viral how to build a brand went in that first 12 weeks. And you can apply this strategy as often as you like. You can rinse and repeat it. You can obviously tweak it to your business. Hi Laurie. Hello Carol. Tweak it to your business, and also you could do this on a weekly basis. It doesn't have to be a quarterly basis necessarily. You could do this faster, much quicker than I did it. However, I do believe that there is a heartbeat process that needs to be applied if you want to. I mean, obviously money is important, of course it is essential. Why would we be in business if we weren't earning money? But what's super, super important to me is that your relationships, let me just lose that notification, your relationships are more relational than transactional. And hi Kezia, I'll see you shortly when we go, because you've got your live that I'll be joining straight after this Brand Breakthrough show. So yeah, it's really about making sure that your relationships are relational rather than transactional, because if they become just transactional, you'll find that competitors that really focused on that trust and credibility building, they're going to overtake you. They're going to build relationships with your customers in a way that you aren't. So make sure that what you're doing is completely relational. And that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to step you through that 12-week or 12-step process, however fast you want to do it. By the way, the reason why I also made it 12 weeks instead of 12 days was because I obviously have a business to run. I have busy things going on. And so I developed this 12-step process around people just like me. And maybe you are like me and you are also busy and you've got a business to run and you've got family to manage and all kinds of other things that you're juggling. And so I built this really, what I'm going to share with you, I built this around 1 hour per day for 12 weeks, and it made such an enormous difference to my engagement. So okay, so cool, right, thank you, Kez. I've just received a message from Kezia. So let's get started. I'm just going to pop that on there. Keep hydrated for the evening. Okay, so the first thing, like I say, I'm not going to be able to actually play this keynote for you because I wanted to deliver this in Be Live for you tonight so that I'd be able to stream it and just share my screen as well. But what I might have to do is just create a screen like PDF or something and post that for you afterwards, or create some screenshots so you can see what I'm looking at. But the first thing I really want you to do, because for you to create those transactions, you need to create trust first. So the first thing I want you to do is we're going to step into the future for a bit. And for those of you that have been to one of our Brand Builders Club members days, you may well have been asked this question in the past. And this is a great opportunity for you to reevaluate where you're at, just assess, what is it you want to achieve really over the next 12 weeks, 12 months, what is that for you? But the main question I really want to ask you is, what brand do you want to be? Because as you know, you've followed me for a long time most likely, and may even have a one-to-one with me at some point. I've spent quite a lot of time with most of you that are on here. Hi Corinne, hey, it's lovely to see you. All the way from Oz. Are you still in Australia? Actually, that'd be really cool. Why don't you share? There's people from all over the world on this call. Share where you're from, because you can buddy up and get to meet each other. I think it's super cool what you're all doing. I'm so proud of you all. And I love the fact that we're spending this time every week. You're really progressing your business, and I'm so proud to see the flourishing that's going on. We're just about to announce our second Brand Builders Club annual awards, which are happening on the 8th of December in London. And I'm super, super excited because there's so much that's happening around the awards, and we're just about to launch them. And many of our Brand Builders Club members will be nominated. So here we go. Look, UK, Barcelona, Netherlands, Orlando, Florida, Tallahassee, Florida. Haha, love it, Chichester. Awesome. I think I got this cup actually from, do you like it? I think I got this from Atlanta. So even my cup's from a different place in the world. So let's think about, what is your brand, what do you want it to be? What do you really want to be known for? And even if you're not known for that now, let's step you into the future and think about what it is that you really want to be known for. Your brand is what other people say it is when you're not there. So if people are having a conversation about you and what you do when you're not there, what is it that you want them to be saying about you? So have a think about that, and maybe you could write that, put it in the comments below this video, because this is a great opportunity for you to share with each other. I learn things all the time. I know you all really well, but I still learn things every time that I deliver this show. Every week I still learn new things about you. It's awesome. So share this with each other, because you'll get to know much more about each other. So we've got Delray Beach, Florida. Awesome. Okay, so what brand do you want to be known for? So if you type that in, the second thing that I want you to answer as well. Whoop. Let me just move you back here, because I'm worried that it's going to slide. Okay. All right. So my machine is doing something crazy. Is what brand are you now? What brand are you known for now? And let's see how you what you want to be known for. And the next thing is, like, what is the gap? Okay, so gospel. Keep going to call you Gospello, because I only know you as Gospello. So financial fixer. Okay, financial fixer, passionate and inspiring business skills trainer. The business skills trainer. Is that your because Chris, was it you that was posting in the Brand Builders Club a little while ago? The dopamine dealer. I love that. That is awesome. I love that. The course creation coach, really, really clear. So Chris, is it you that was posting about your fame name in the group? Just trying to, okay, so my machine is shutting down. Everything's happening tonight. It's all fun, isn't it? Isn't technology fun when it works? So yeah, Chris, just share with us, group name, right? Okay. Well, maybe you could ask for some support here. You know, this is about really building your brand and getting that product out there and making a difference. So maybe that's something that you could share in here too while we're live. Because like with Vicky's name, for example, the course creation coach, it's very, very clear about what she does. I love the dopamine dealer. I don't know that I've ever known you as that fame name. When did this come about? Okay, right. So let's go back into here. I'm just going to enter my password again. So what other fame names have we got hanging around in here? Gospel, the financial fixer. Okay, Carol, the space creator. Yes, Carol. I remember we created the space creator while we were in France. And just so kind of obvious what you do. And it's great because you're creating space in people's heads. You're creating space in people's homes. Passion Whisperer, Rob, hello, welcome. Carol, Magnificence Magnifier. For women introverts, love it. The Magnificence Magnifier. I mean, it's delicious in the way that, the Passion Whisperer. Interesting. I'd love to find out more about what that is, Rob, because this is the first time I'm really meeting you today. So, okay, I believe that we're back on track. Okay, so, so what brand do you want to be known for, and what brand are you now? It is now working so well for me, Sammy. Yay! I'm so excited. I really am. I mean, I've watched you, Carol. You've pretty much implemented much of the process that I'm going to go through now, and made such a difference already. I've seen you have been collaborating with people already. You've been joint venturing, partnering, doing amazing things, and I can't wait to see you in December. Seriously, if you're not already booked onto the Vision, Voice and Visibility Conference from it's from the 6th to the 9th of December, because we start from 6 till 9 p.m. on the Thursday evening with some extra bonus training, networking. If you've been to any of our social sessions, you'll know how fun they are. And just get there, because I've met so many amazing people on this journey, people that I've been on the documentaries with, people that I've spoken on stages with, people that I never thought in a million years I would be, hi Alicia, that I would be hanging around with. And yet I've been able to somehow, and I don't know how, I've been able to get those people in one place for 3 days, people flying all over the world, to be in one place for 3 days. I don't know that it's ever going to happen again, but I am super looking forward to it, because we're just covering some amazing stuff, and it's a brilliant opportunity for you to joint venture, to partner, to collaborate, to champion each other. We've got some very, very special stuff that we're going to be doing over those 3 days. I wish someone would whisper passions in my ear. Whoop whoop. Yay. Well, turns out that this show's turned into a very different show. Awesome, Asher, Ambassador of Happiness. I love the Ambassador of Happiness. Yeah, Chris, when you start creating names, so many you like are gone. I even looked at Adobe Ford. Hello, Claire. We are going to be at the Holiday Inn at Gatwick Airport. So it's 3 days, 3.5 if you include the Thursday that we're all getting together, and just awesome. I'll message you the details so you've got it. It's by personal invite only, so there aren't any links. You won't find anything about this online. This is me inviting you, the people that I already know, to come and play. And I've capped it at 80 spaces, so it's very small, very intimate, everyone getting shit done, lots of networking, lots of collaborating, and just the most amazing content by the most amazing speakers that are flying in from all over the world. So we've got the awards party as well. So we've got a black tie, red carpet do on the Saturday night, which all of the attendees are welcome to attend. It's a 3-course meal. Marie Diamond from The Secret is our keynote speaker. She's also speaking on day 1 and day 3. So we've got some awesome stuff that's happening. And yeah, just brilliant things. And some of the things I'm going to share tonight, we're going to elaborate on them over the 3 days. Yoga, hello. Chris, group name needs to reflect how the members see themselves rather than about me, though, surely. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, really what I would do, you know, and we're talking about strategy tonight, you know, and effectively your Facebook group is a product. Claire, I'll send you the link, and I'll send you the brochure, because it's by brochure. Like I say, you won't find this event anywhere online because it's so personally invite only. So I'll send that to you after the broadcast, and give me a prod, drop me a message and give me a prod, and I'll send that to you straight after. So you know, it's just so important that you really step into your ideal customer's shoes, and that's what we're going to cover as we go through this process. You've got to step into your ideal customer's shoes, because if you can't associate with where they're at, and if you can't use language that enables them to relate to you, if you can't create a relationship that is emotional and connected, then they're not going to relate to you in the way that they possibly could. So in terms of creating a Facebook group name, I would really invite you to consider, hi Camilla, to consider the overall brand. I don't think setting up Facebook pages with different names connected strategy, so that the name of the Facebook group makes sense to the name of the business, makes sense to your fame name. It really should all be interconnected. And I'm happy to jump on Zoom or something for 15 minutes if you want to brainstorm and work stuff out. But you know, you want to make sure that it is all connected to each other. So let's make some time to do that. In fact, I think you've got the link actually for you to book that time in with me, Chris. So just do that, or drop an email to sammy@howtobuildabrand.org, and James or Jen will, when they come into the office tomorrow, they'll make sure that you have some time with me, and we'll bottom it out, if so to speak. So we were talking about the difference of, you know, what you want to be known for, what you are known for, like what do you want to be known for in future, or I should do it that way, what do you want to be known for in future, what are you known for now, so that we can create that gap. Hi Sam. So we can create that gap, because, you know, really ultimately, and we've talked about this before, the difference between your brand and branding is your brand is, let's look at this as the iceberg principle. If you haven't heard me talk about this before, I'll use my little notebook here. So imagine that this is the waterline, and here's the tip of your iceberg. Here's the tip of your iceberg popping up above the top of this pad. But underneath, you can see my finger is holding it up. My hand is holding up my finger, right? Just like the iceberg is holding up the tip of the iceberg. Only 15%, around 15% of the iceberg is what you can actually see above the water. And it's the same for your branding, your logo, the visible things that people see when they search for you, or when they search for what you provide, and hopefully you show up. That's the 15%, this little bit up here that they can actually see. 85% of that iceberg and 85% of your brand is under the water. But if you took the brand away, what would happen to the branding. It'd be gone. It would sink. And this is what too many people and too many entrepreneurs are doing. They're focusing, and it's kind of, by trying to create the fame name and the, your Facebook groups and things like that, by trying to create them before you've done the brand piece. It really continues to float and and increase and rise. What happens is you create it and there's a big buzz around it, and then it fizzles out because people don't necessarily understand it too well. So the strategy that I'm going to go through with you now is all about making sure that you have got everything in place to be able to really connect with people, because ultimately, if you can build that trust builds credibility. And credibility, it creates connection. Connection creates conversations. The conversations lead to conversions. Conversions are what lead to your cash flow. And cash flow creates the business. And in creating the business, you have an opportunity to reach more lives than ever before, to create a bigger impact, to really make a difference to many, many, many millions more lives than maybe you're making that difference to right now. But if you are a purpose-driven entrepreneur, then you want to take the direct route to success. You don't want to be going all over the place and taking the long route. Why do that when there is a faster way to do it? Mr. Greg Garrity, hello husband. So T. Harv Eker, he has a saying, and he says, if you want to change the fruits, you've got to change the roots. And what he means is like the roots of the foundation of that strategy. But I believe that actually looking at the roots in terms of taking the highway route instead of the country lane route, there are things that you can do to get on the super highway so that you're speeding your way to that success instead of, it can happen sometimes, can't it? Sometimes if you don't follow the strategy, or you start off with good intentions and you're following a strategy and then life gets in the way and you come away from the strategy, no great plan or goal is ever going to be achieved if you start coming away from it. So it's about really making sure you're taking the right direction and then sticking to it once you've got it. So really the first thing that I want to do is cover a word that you may have heard me say before, which is brandalism. And I want to make sure that you don't ever commit said brandalism. And there are many ways that you can create brandalism, but there's two major ones. The first is to make an assumption about what your clients want and need. Make an assumption about what pain they're in. Making an assumption about what language they're using to find what you provide. But I find that one of the biggest forms of brandalism is when you really skip out the process of creating a proper brand strategy in this 11-step process that I'm going to go through with you, so that by week 12 you're really achieving the goals that you set for yourself. At the 3-day conference in December, we're going to be focusing on goals. I have David Shepherd, who is amazing, is going to come down and work with us on, it's all right setting these goals, but how are you going to achieve that? How are you going to retain the right mindset to be able to achieve those goals? Because setting a vision and even, creating vision boards and all the things that you could do psychologically, you could prepare yourself, but there are things that are going to happen as you grow the business. There are things that are going to get in the way. There are people that are going to get you down. There are things that aren't going to happen the way that you want them to happen. How are you going to manage that as those things kind of hit you and could knock you down? So David's going to give you some strategies on how you can really ensure that you keep going, that you're still motivated, and that your mindset is still as strong as it possibly could be as you continue to expand your brand and grow your business next year. So, mindset is a huge one. But the challenge that I find most with most entrepreneurs is skipping the process is, I think Greg and Abby have come home, so you might hear a bit of barking. Yeah, it's skipping the process, skipping the brand strategy. I'm just going to move you over here a tad so that I can see you properly. Carol, working on developing your logo. Awesome. I can't wait to see that. So yeah, what I want you to do is, instead of going straight from, hey, I've got my branding, or I've got a product idea, or hey, I've got an idea for a Facebook group, you go straight into create the Facebook group. You call it something that people aren't searching for. They don't associate with it. You know, this isn't just aimed at you, by the way, Chris. This is something that a lot of people do. This isn't just, you know, and the reason why you're talking to me is because you're not doing that. You want to avoid doing that, but many people do that, and you know, and as a result, they really cut out a huge part of the strategy, the strategic process that is the part that creates a success. It's the bit that gels it all together. So instead of going from, you know, I've got my idea, I'm going to start creating, you know, a landing page or a website, or I'll create a brochure and I'll just get it out there, and then I'll start broadcasting it, you know. So I've now got this thing, I'm going to start broadcasting it, and then you don't achieve the success that you really want to, and you get disappointed, you know. And the very worst form of brandalism is when you've educated somebody about something that they need, but because you haven't used language, or you haven't nurtured them or associated with that person in a way that they feel that you're the person they need to work with on it, you've educated them and now they've gone and bought it from someone else. Like, that's enormous brandalism. Give me a hashtag brandalism. Like, this is like, no, we do not want to commit brandalism. And so these steps that I'm going to share with you now are going to commit or stop you from committing any brandalism, even by accident, and making sure that you are relating in a way that is relational and leads to transactional as a result. You know, don't cut corners. Cutting corners is just well, you just end up going around in circles, right, whenever you cut corners. Because if you were to take this piece of paper and cut all the corners off, you would just end up going round and round in circles again and again and again. And I want to help you avoid that. So let's first of all start off then by thinking about your brand strategy. Where do you want your brand to land over the next 12 months, 12 years, 12 centuries? You know, like, how big is the impact that you want to make? I had a great talk with, I don't know if you saw the interview last week with Paul Dunn from Buy One, Give One. If you haven't seen it, just go back a couple of posts. I think quite a few people have been commenting on the live show that we did last week, and as a result of that, it stayed at the top of the page for quite a long time this week. So it won't be far behind, but if you missed that interview, go and watch it, because one of the things that Paul talks about in more detail than I'm about to is about the impact that you have to the ability to create a legacy in every moment, not just thinking about creating a legacy when you're not here anymore, but actually, you know, smiling at a stranger is a legacy, because you've created something that's made an impact on someone that will mean that they impact on somebody differently or more positively. And, you know, like, each of the connections that you have, it's all part of your legacy. So it's not just about, you know, creating a 100-year legacy about what I'm going to do or what my brand is going to do even when I'm not here, or even your movement. You know, if you're building a movement like Kazia's building a global movement, you know, like, you don't have to wait to create that legacy. That legacy is created every moment that you show up. If you remember, you know, this one drop, it's the one drop. Like, how can you be that the most significant one drop for even just one person every day? In fact, I've been sourcing these for ages, and I've managed to find some of these. I will be bringing them to the conference in December. So yeah, I'll have some of these to sell. So if you want one and you want me to make sure that I put one aside for you, then let me know. But yes, I finally found the one drop. I've been looking for them for ages. So So the first part of your brand strategy really is about making sure that you understand what your brand journey is. You know, where is that brand going to land? Are you creating a business that you want to drive? Awesome, Lubna. I'll make sure I save one for you. Wow. I mean, it's just such a magnificent thing. I love that word. And Carol, I'm so connecting you to the word magnificent. Mary Frances Barbisan in Canada, she also uses the word magnificent. So I think of the two of you every time I use it, or if someone else uses it. How's that? You've actually claimed a word as a brand. You now rent a space in my head for that word. That's awesome, right? And really, when it comes to renting that space, your brand is owning a space in your life. Your brand, your reputation, your business, all of that. It's owning a space in your life right now. And what I want you to think about in terms of the brand journey is how far in advance are you looking? And just type it in the comments below this video. How far in advance do you want to make a difference? Is it over this next 12 months? Is it over the next 3 years and then you intend to sell your business? Is it over the next 10 years? Is it that you're creating a franchise? Are you creating products or training that you want other people to be delivering underneath you so that you can make that bigger impact and continue to make a difference globally and locally? You know, like if you put that in the comments, and so that we can see like how far in advance are you working? What is your brand journey? Okay, Chris, 7 years, awesome. And what is that? Is that a 7-year exit strategy, or is that 7 years of impact? They're all right, by the way. There is no wrong answer. This isn't a trick question at all. Okay, Camilla, 12 days of calm Christmas. I first thought of it with you last year, I think, finally making it happen. Awesome, Camilla. Excellent. I'm so pleased. And as a result of that, you're going to be able to use that every year. And could you actually, Camilla, I don't know if you and Carol have ever worked together yet, but Carol's doing some amazing stuff as well that she's also doing around Christmas, a Christmas theme. And I think there could be a collaboration for the two of you. And even if there's not, just jump on a phone anyway and see if there is, because you just never know. So make sure you connect with each other. Chris, to retirement. Okay, then passive income. Brilliant. So, and this is so important that you really think about that. Camilla, and where to go to live when my 2-year-old is a teen. Amanda, we'll watch the replay. Awesome. Hello, Axion, Amanda. So yeah, I just want you to consider your brand journey, because if you don't understand what your journey is, then that can become very confusing for your customers. For example, if you're creating a legacy product or a legacy brand, something that you are building to really expand and reach lives in a big way, then like Claire, you're franchising, you're training trainers, you've got corporate programs. Brilliant. Well, as a result of that, being clear about that with your customers, it's inspiring to them. And it ignites them by understanding your journey and being a part of your journey. So really, think about how you communicate that to your customers and how you're communicating that to the world. And really think about your brand journey, because once you know what that is, like I knew, like my brand journey, and this was my brand journey that I'm sharing, what I'm sharing with you now, the brand journey that, and I do this every 12 weeks, like I say. I use these documents to set my 12-week strategy. For those of you in the Brand Builders Club, you'll know these very well because we do them every 12 weeks on our members' days. In 3 months from today, my goal is to achieve. In 3 months from today, my goal is to have completed, so what have I started that I haven't finished yet that I need to carry over, and what's brand new that I need to start doing so that I can reach more people and change more lives, transform more lives, or at least make one difference to them that might go on to change many things. So I do that, and then I focus on my months individually. I don't talk to about these ideas with anyone yet. But awesome. Maybe it's about time that you did, but you've got to get clear on them first. Don't start talking about them if you don't understand what they are or if you're not sure what they are. You're, oh, bless you. Sorry, that was my dog, not me. Massive sneeze. And as a result then of getting really clear on that, that brand journey is super important. So my journey was 12 weeks. I set out to have achieved in 12 weeks, I wanted to have achieved £15,000. So that was my journey when I started this, because when I started this business, How to Build a Brand, I had a vision for it. I knew I wanted to create a 100-year legacy, but I knew that I wanted to make a real difference in that 12-week period. So my goals over that 12 weeks were to have completed all of this. But my journey as a business was for 100 years. I knew that I was creating a 100-year vision and a 100-year legacy, because in doing that, I would have to build the business in a way that could survive without me. As much as I would love to think that I'm going to be around and I'm going to be super healthy until I just drop down dead one day, the chances of me still being here in 100 years are very slim. So, for me, it was like my brand journey is going to be 100 years. So whatever I create and whatever I put on this paper, it's only going to involve me. I will have an exit strategy from all of the admin, from the marketing, from the accounts, from all the hats that we wear when we're building a business. Have an exit strategy for those things. And you can do that when you know what the journey is. So just make a decision about what that journey is. Some of you have shared that. Thank you for sharing. That journey is important, because then you've got a timeline. And if you're creating a franchise or a train-the-trainer business or certification or products that you want other people to sell on your behalf, then you'll need to create a strategy in a very different way to if you're just setting up as, for example, maybe you're a coach and you're not necessarily interested in creating something that's a 100-year legacy. Hi, Cindy. If you're creating something and you just want to serve until you don't anymore, and it's more of a hobby business. Hi, Karen. If it's more of a hobby and it's as a lifestyle business, it's something that, you want to make money, you want a great lifestyle, but actually, that you impact on people, but once you're gone, you're not, it's not something that you're considering, then you can just, keep building your business and build your brand in a way that you're really just focusing on building that credibility and reputation. But when you're building a franchise or a train-the-trainer or products for other people to sell, you're not only taking into consideration your end user, it's like business to business to business that you're thinking of, right? Or business to consumer, because you could be selling what you're doing to somebody else that's in business, and then they're going and reselling that, or they are going and making that difference to those people that maybe you are at the moment. So exit strategy is something to chew over. Awesome, Camilla. Well, it is, and it doesn't need to be an exit strategy in your business. It just needs to be an exit strategy of tasks. So I'm looking for a full-time graphic designer in our business right now, because it's me that's doing all the design work. Just because I was a designer before, I'm getting caught up in doing all the design. Do I love doing it? Yes. Is it the most important thing that I could be doing? No, because I can't be changing lives while I'm stuck at my machine designing stuff. So I have an exit strategy. By Christmas, I will not be doing any of our design anymore. So even just have an exit strategy for a role, even if you don't have one for the business. Carol, my book is taking longer because I'm digging deep to create something introverts will to shine their light. To get my magnificence brand out there is create a quotation book, thoughts, not just pages of quotations. Then I have something to give away as my business card. Excellent, brilliant idea, Carol. So have an exit strategy for that book. When do you want to have completed it by? When do you want to have released all the time that's being committed to that? When do you want that to have been completed? And just, get your head around this, because, everything you do, it should have an exit strategy to it, so that you're not going to be managing it anymore. Yes, you might want to manage it yourself the first time. In fact, I advise that you do, because then you learn the process, you understand what needs to be done, you'll respect it far differently when you're getting somebody else to do it. Bless James, when he came into the organisation in January, he was an admin assistant. He wasn't the operations director that he is now. He came in as admin assistant and learned every role and every tiny little thing that he needed to do to be that admin assistant. He then got to the point where he was taking on more responsibility, then started traveling with me, then started to see the impact that our events have. He started to run the events, he started to work his way up through that. And his exit strategy was, and this is an exit strategy that we set, was that he would do 6 months in that role, 3 to 6 months. And when he was at a point where he knew everything that he needed to, he would bring somebody else on to work under him, so that they could then be. So he had an exit strategy. We had an exit strategy for that role, so that he could then move up and that person could move in. Now, that person that you bring on might they might also move up. But just think about, what's the journey? What's the brand journey of what you're creating? Carol, I have my first 3 books on my list, firming up timescales. Brilliant. And when you come to the event in December, Carol, just really have that in mind. Really think about those goals, because there are ways that you could create those books very quickly. Carol, by January the 1st. Love it. I love a date with a deadline. So once you understand what that brand journey is, and we've really covered that now, and I hope that that's given you some thinking around exit strategies. And we talked, was it last week or the week before on that show? I think it was last week. We talked about organizational charts. So making sure that you have an organizational structure for your business that you put in place that doesn't have you in it. That is also an exit strategy. I don't intend to exit my business. I just intend to exit the roles that are hindering me from getting out there and changing more lives. I intend to exit certain things. I exited my Master Your Message Mastermind program in September. It was the last one that I delivered. So I created the 7-step brand Kickstarter for all of my Brand Builders Club members to go through that process, because it's pretty much the process that I went through in person during that retreat. But I had an exit strategy for that. I needed to. I ran it for 3 years, and then got to a point where I needed to up level the time that I'm using and what I'm doing. So again, just really think about that exit strategy. And if you understand what that brand journey is, it makes it so much easier for you. And I think, when a client, and also depending on what industry you're in, but if for example you're currently getting caught up in something that you don't want to be doing for very long, but you're doing it because you need to bring the money in, having a message that you put out to your customers that are buying that, especially if it's a long-term service, putting the message to them from the very beginning and sharing with them from the very beginning that, you're building a brand that can really service them in the very best way. And you're servicing them at the moment, but you want to progress with them. You want to provide even more things for them at a higher level. And as a result of that, you will be bringing people into the business to also support with the delivery of that service. That's a really strong message. That's a positive message. It's not, oh, by the way, I'm buggering off, so I'm going to leave you with Tom, Dick and Harry. If you can associate with their pains and you can relate to them and you know where they're growing to, then you're much more able to say to them, look, I can see this is where you're going, and actually I'm going to support you every step of the way. And because I'm going to be working with you at this strategic level, or we're going to be working here, it just means I'm going to be bringing some other people in to service these other things down here to make sure I can be, in a position to work with you at that level. And they will love it, right? You can be clear in your messaging then. So, and then there's no surprises either, because that's a real problem. That also can be brandalism, because if you say you're getting me, You know, if at the moment your business, again, this is about brand journey, if in your business you're the only person in it right now, and you're the one that's delivering the service, you're making the sales, you're doing accounts, you know, if you're getting involved in a lot of things, and that customer is getting a lot of time with you, and then you start to introduce this, that can cause problems. And I certainly found that when we had our design agency. I found that well, actually, before we started our design agency, I found that when it was just my business. And then when my business partner and I brought our companies together, and we started to work on bigger projects, and our team, who were much better at doing things than we were, because we were bringing in experts for the stuff that we needed to do for our clients, but those clients still wanted us. And because there hadn't been any communication in our existing businesses, that became a problem. But new clients that came on board, we positioned our business as if they were already working with a whole team. So no matter what point in your business you are, even if it is just you at the moment, if you have any desire, will or intention that you're going to have a team, or you're going to have other people at some point delivering what you do, communicate that to your customers as you bring them on, and they will respect you greatly. They will feel like they're part of something that's really progressing and really, you know, making waves and doing what you say you are going to do, you know, really following through. Claire, yes, this is amazing. I haven't spoken to people like that. Thank you. I intend to have clients for life, like a family. Brilliant. And that's exactly how I see you. So once you understand where that brand's going to land, you can really communicate the value then, can't you? Because the value is you're growing, you're building something that that they are going to be a part of. You're going to listen to them, you're going to respond to their problems, their pains, the things that are keeping them up at night. You know, and it might even be that you provide something that doesn't keep someone awake at night, but you provide something that is, thank you, Carol, that is inspirational, something that is that's life-changing, something that's still missing for people. I wasn't in pain today when I sat down and typed in spa day. I wasn't in pain. I didn't have a pain. I was thinking, how can I treat Jen, one of our daughters? How can I treat Jen for her birthday? Her birthday was a little while ago. She wanted driving lessons. It just has not been a priority for her since her birthday. And so I said to her, hey, let's do a spa day instead, and then we can pick that up again at some other point. So I wasn't in a pain. I was looking for something that was a solution to making her smile, making her happy. So, you know, just think about really putting yourself in the shoes of the person who is looking for what you provide, and really, you know, building your whole brand, building your strategy around that. And I swear to you, it will make such a difference to your language and everything. Laurie, yes, that's what I do for my follow-up service. I have a team. Brilliant. So just position it as that, you know, and I went and I chose the service that most matched my needs, and I knew exactly what I wanted. I just went on. Literally, it took me about 3 minutes to go from this is what I want to, okay, bought it, phoned up the place, gave them the code, said, right, okay, we'll be there. What time can we have our massages together? And you know, what do we book? And so, you know, it's like, just make it easy for people to do that, because, you know, if you think about it, I've been a reactionary customer in that situation. So I've had the idea, and within like 4 or 5 minutes, it's booked, done. Right? And I texted Jen, are you available next Friday? Brilliant. Okay, went on, I booked it, and we're in. But if you don't really communicate that value fast enough, and it takes somebody to really scroll through everything, and they've got to take a long time to look through stuff. Really, you know, if it's a person like me, if you're targeting someone like me who has a busy life, needs to make decisions and get shit done, you need to communicate really quickly. You need to communicate what that value is. So step 1 is the journey. Know what the journey is, and let your customer know what that journey is. 2, value, the brand value. What is the value of it? Why this and why now? And if you can communicate that, you know, why this, why me, and why now, those 3 things, if you can do that, and you can do it in a way that within 60 seconds. You know, it's what we do on the 7-step brand Kickstarter in the Brand Builders Club. You go through that process. You should be able to communicate in 60 seconds or less your vision, your mission, and your pitch in a way that someone says, I need to know more. And you get that call booked in with them. When you communicate that value, you want to make sure that you come up with your value statement in a way that enables you to use it across everything that you do. So, you know, it's no good coming up with a fancy statement that looks brilliant if it's you know, on a brochure, but looks terrible when you put it on a website or on a phone screen. If your website is you know, what's the word that I'm looking for? This isn't the word, but it's like it, reactionary to the device that they're looking at it on. It's mobile ready, brilliant, right? But if your website isn't mobile ready, then the wording can look absolutely terrible. It can look all over the place. So again, you know, it's just you know, making sure that that what you use can be used consistently. So I would advise that you create a value statement or something that responsive. Thank you, Chris. I knew it wasn't reactionary, but I knew it began with R. Thank you. The power of team. So yeah, when you communicate that value, I would do it in the shortest way that you can. And you could maybe do this through using a couple of statements. Maybe you have a value-based statement that is more like a strap line. A bit like your vision statement that can be said in 10 seconds or less. And it might be that if you've got a little bit longer time to communicate the value behind something, then, you know, you've got that time. But what I would suggest you do, you know, on any web page, if somebody is really looking for something and they find you, you know, bullet point it and have a video. If somebody's got more time and they want to feel you and you know, if you've got kinesthetic people who they need to feel whether this is right or not, they're going to go straight into to watching that. They need to feel you, they need to trust you, and they probably want to like you. But if it's somebody who's making a decision about something that is a product, or, you know, it's like, I've seen this mug, I just want to buy it, I don't need to feel emotional about that. If I've already experienced that kind of service before, I know what a massage is like, I know what a spa day is like. You know, if I look at it and the picture does it for me, because I'm a visual person, if the picture does it for me and then the bullet points next to it absolutely tick every word that I've got going on in my head, book. And that's what got me today. And this is where we're talking about brand consistency. So if you can make sure that what you create is consistent and can be used across everything that you do, then you'll have just the most amazing response, because, you know, your ideal customer is not always ready to buy when you're ready to sell. And as a result of that, as you're going through the process of building your brand, you know, if they see your message, or they see this strap line, or they see the name of your group, or they see this, you know, they might see it fleetingly looking for something else, but it's registered, it's rented a space in their head. Thank you, Laurie. But they don't buy it yet. And then they might see it, someone might say it to them. They might see it on a brochure. They might see that somebody has given you a recommendation and, oh, look there, your name's come up again. So just really think about that consistency. If what's being said about you is different each time, and if how you're representing yourself is different each time, then you will lose an enormous amount of trust. Seriously, consistency or lack of consistency is one of the biggest killers of trust. You know, just make sure that you don't commit brandalism by committing inconsistency. Once you've created it, that's what it is across everything. And that's where I was talking, Chris, earlier about, you know, making sure that your Facebook page name is in alignment with the rest of the brand name and the branding. You know, you want to have at least one keyword, one word. Like, you know, I've got 44 different products, and each of those products have the word brand in them. You want to have something in there that at least one word should be connected to the overall branding of the business. I would advise that, because that way you're renting a space in their head for that word, and whenever they see it, they trust you. And here's the thing. What happened earlier, if you were on this call through the whole call, I mentioned the word magnificent and then said, when I think of the word magnificent, or when somebody else uses that word, I think of Carol and I think of Mary Frances, because they both use that word. Not everyone I know uses that word. And because it's a word that not everybody uses, I just resonate with it immediately. And because they say it all the time and it's in everything that they do, that word, it just, oh my God, you just rent a space in my head for that. And always will, most likely. So the words that you use, they need to rent that space. They need to have ownership in that person's head. Laurie, even if your companies have different target markets, well, obviously, if you're saying companies, I'm talking about one business that is promoting products and services under that business. You want complete consistency. However, if you are building companies where there is an alignment, like, for example, I've got How to Build a Brand. Well, actually, I've got How to Build a Brand Limited in the UK. I've got How to Build a Brand Canada. I've got How to Build a Brand USA. And I also then have the Brand Builders Club Limited, the Brand Builders Club USA Corporation. So I've got the word brand in everything that I do. I think the challenge, if you're creating so many businesses that aren't in alignment or that don't have something that ties them together, you personally, as a brand, might not be as trusted as you could be. Because if you're going out there and you're just sticking your stake in the ground and everything you build is around that particular thing, then you have claimed that expert status. People will know you as an expert. They'll trust you as an expert. They'll believe in you as an expert, and they will come to you for everything around that thing. But if you start to dilute, and especially if you start to dilute too early on, you'll have a problem with that. So, I know. Oh, well, they're just the businesses that I have now. Okay, so space is in everything I have now. Brilliant. And Carol, that was a strategy that we discussed at the Master Your Message Mastermind, and that's why it's so important. Just, Laurie, whatever you're thinking of creating, bring that to one of the think tanks. We're just about to start introducing the think tanks for the Brand Builders Club, so there'll be local support groups in the different countries and regions that we are in. So there'll be physical meetups that are happening between the members throughout the month, so that between the meetings that we have every quarter, that can sometimes be too long, and so we're having meetups now. Some of them, Jamie and I are going to deliver a meetup that's online. So we and that's the kind of thing that you could bring to the think tank. And it's so important that you, when you do have a question like this, Laurie, bring that to the think tank, because we can really, we can work around that. And while working around that with other people being there, everybody gets to learn. It's not just you that then gets that, because we could go offline and have a one-to-one conversation, but there might be something that is said in the kind of flow and creativity that happens in a think tank and mastermind, where other people get to learn from that as well. Zeal is a bugger to team up. Zealous is good but not zealot. Yes, you don't want to be using that. Any in Kent? Potentially, Claire. So just watch this space. It is something that our leadership teams are putting in place for that. So Carol, I'm so happy you encouraged me to rebirth magnificence. Most every time I respond to other posts with magnificence. And that's the thing. And that's why you rent a space in my head. Don't ever be afraid to use that word. Tony Lynn, hello. So team is the next thing that I want to cover. Let me just see. I'm not quite sure what the time is. How are we doing for time? Wow, we're already 10 minutes over. Blimey, well, this conversation has been really going for it tonight. So let me just get back to where I was. So we were talking about team. And when you're building a brand and when you're creating a strategy that's really going to make a global difference to lives, you can't do that on your own, and why would you want to? So team is a huge important part of your growth, and I kind of covered it a little bit earlier anyway when I was talking about having an exit strategy. Even if that's not an exit strategy for the business, have an exit strategy for the tasks you are getting involved in that shouldn't be yours, right? So think about, we did this actually at the last Members Day. If you could take just one team member, if you don't have any team, or if you need another team member, who is that? Who needs to be your next outsourcer or your next person that you need to recruit? Who does that need to be to support you in what you're doing? And I was thinking about you today, Tony. So team is enormously important. And when I say team, it doesn't just have to be an outsourcer or an employee, somebody that you bring into your business. Your team can also be your referral team. So who could be in your network right now that you've done a great job for, that could go out and tell somebody else something positive about you? We talked about consistency. So how could you do that? How could you take control of your brand and your branding and the way that people are branding you? How could you create something that they could then go and share with other people? We do this with our Brand Builders Club all the time. We encourage our Brand Builders Club members to bring just one person to the next event with them, and that way it's not too hard. They're not taking themselves out of their business trying to build mine. It's just bring one person that you think this would add enormous value to the next event. No pressure. Bring that person with you. Here's the link. Off you go. We have brand new people that come to our events all the time that we've never in a million years have been able to meet, through the fact that we maybe not in the same networks. We're not connected to the same people all the time. So think about your brand team. Who have you got around you that could go out there and share your message and introduce you to brand new people, brand new lives that you don't necessarily have connection with yet? Your brand literature, we mentioned this earlier because many times people are going straight from, I've got an idea, I'm going to create something around this, and then just start getting it out there. Oh, thank you, darling. Well, it takes one to know one. Just start getting it out there and broadcasting it, and then it falls on deaf ears because your audience isn't necessarily listening, or they're not listening in the way that you're sharing that. So, having the right literature is super important. And if you follow the steps that we've been through already, you'll start to get to a point where the literature you're creating, and when I say literature, I mean like your website copy or your landing page copy, your emails that you're writing. You might be sending out text messages. You might be sending out Facebook messages. It might be that you're using LinkedIn as your strategy. You might be putting literature out into LinkedIn groups. Literature can also be your memes. That has got literature on it. It's got your wording, it's got your content, it's got your love language all over it. So, people are seeing that. How is it being shared? But again, just making sure that it's consistent with your entire strategy. And then once you've got those things in place, your brand channels. I mentioned some of those channels just now. But when you know what it is you want to say and you know who you want to say it to, you're then better able to go and find the places where those people are in the highest concentration. Just because a few people respond to you on Facebook, for example, doesn't mean that Facebook is where your audience is. Test it, try your message out in different places and see, you might have tried it a year ago, you might have tried it 3 months ago. Well, the world has changed since then. There could be people that are now on there that weren't on there before that are now starting to use that. They might have gone to a social media workshop and been told they all need to use this particular platform, and now they're all using that out of the blue. and you're not hanging out there because for whatever reason you gave up on that. So just, once every 3 months or even once every 6 months, just do another little test across the different networks. You might find that the network you've been using is now being outperformed by something else. So your brand channels that you're communicating through, just keep on top of that. because then you can broadcast in the right way with the right message to the right people at the right time. And then they're more likely to chat with you. And that's the next thing, is your brand chat. We're on point 9 now, so we're almost at the end. You know, the conversations that you have with people, if they're done in the right way, can really create those conversions. So just think about how you can really, you know, what's going to create the best quality of conversation for you. What questions could you ask? You know, what content could you put out there? Vicky, she posted her, what part was it? I think it was verification. I think you posted in the Brand Builders Club yesterday or the day before. And I just went through and just rejigged the language in the content, because, you know, that chat that can be created as a result of that little piece, the literature. So in step 6, you've created that piece of literature, you're getting it out there, you want it to create a conversation, because the conversation is where the conversion happens. So, and the credibility. So if you can get that chat going, that's so important. So think about, you know, what are the channels where you can create the best conversations. For example, we've covered this before, and I'll cover it very briefly now. Are the people that are looking for the service or the product that you want to sell most right now, are they looking for it? Well, let's put it another way. Who is looking for it where they're just looking for information? You know, what stage of their journey are they at to be inquiring about this? They're not ready to buy yet because they're pre-active. They're pre-active, so, you know, oh, I can see my boiler, there's a crack appeared on the boiler. I think I'll start doing a bit of research on where, if that goes, where can I get a boiler, right? So I might start looking. I'm not ready to do that yet. Carol, in your case, I might have moved into a house. Not that this situation is like mine at all. Moved into a house that belongs to somebody else, that you're clearing, and you're surrounded by somebody else's stuff. And I'm looking for, oh my God, you know, I need some headspace. I need some way of clearing this out. What do I do and be respectful to the person whose house it was before? You know, I might be looking for solutions to that. I'm not ready to do the whole house yet, but I'm just ready for that. Or it might be in my office. I might have a big pile of stuff going on. Fortunately, that isn't happening in here, but I might have a big pile of stuff going on, and every day I walk past it, and that's renting a space in my head. Asher, I might not be as happy, I might not be as happy at work or in my relationship or in life as I usually am, and I've noticed that I'm not feeling as sprightly as I usually do. What am I going to type into Google? I'm not ready to buy anything yet, but I'm ready to start inquiring about it, right? So here I am, I've got my boiler, there's a crack. The boiler stopped working one day, but we managed to get it working again. Now I'm in proactive mode. I've gone from pre-active, just having to think about it, to proactive. I need to proactively now look and find. So I've been looking at information on all different types of boilers. Now I'm going to start looking at who is it that sells those boilers, because I might need someone to come in and do this immediately. So I go and I'm pre-actively now searching. I'm almost ready to buy it. And if you make that the right offer to me, you'll convert me from a proactive to a reactive. Now, a reactive buyer is usually somebody who, okay, the boiler is broken. I've tripped over that mess in my office and broken my arm. I've gone into work and I've actually thought about the fact I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to be in this job. Why is it that I'm so unhappy in what I'm doing? Maybe I'm not on purpose. How can I get happy? What can I do to make me more happy? Right, so just think about, you've got to step into the language. What is the language that people are using before they start searching for you? Are they pre-active, are they proactive, or are they reactive? And we're talking about brand chat, step 9. So the conversations that you have, like where are those people hanging out? If I am reactively looking for a boiler, Where am I likely to go? What forum am I likely to use? If I'm unhappy in my job, what forum am I likely to use? If I'm distressed at work, what forum am I likely to use? What is out there? What forum or group are people going to find that information? Because you've got to hang out there where those people are in the highest concentration. Okay, so step 10 is about your brand credibility, because ultimately when you're creating that chat, if you're showing up constantly and you're constantly helpful, and say for example that pre-active person has gone on and they're just typing in, thank you Tony, and they're just typing in how to feel more motivated, right? But your end goal is that you're going to get them onto a 1 day, or encourage them onto a 1 day workshop that's all about happiness, right? Well, this is where they are, and this is where you want them to be. Again, we're like a brand journey, right? So this is where they are. So put a retargeting on that person. Anything that they type in that has happy, create some kind of retargeting on that, so that whether they're on Facebook, whether they're on Google, every time they type something up, every time they're searching for something that is like that, you're going to show up. Your brand is just going to be there. Hello, I'm renting a space in your head. Woohoo! Hello. Here I am again. Right? And this is what you want to do, but you don't want to be annoyingly so. You want every time you're doing that, it's like, instead of doing that, you're doing that. I'm giving you something else. Instead of doing, oh, I'm giving you another thing. Oh, here, I'd love to help you again. How can I do that in the best possible way? Because that chat, the conversation, that then turns into, it's Jane Mallion in the house. Hello, my beautiful scone gnome. Hello. I hope you liked your video that I sent you yesterday. You're going to create amazing credibility by having those conversations and by really making the world of difference in someone's life. They are going to love you, and when they fall in love with you, other people will fall in love with you, because guess what they're going to do? They're going to go and share you with the world. They're going to tell other people about you, just like I want to tell you about Jane's amazing lemon curd. If you haven't tried that yet, Jane brought it to the UK Members Day and it was delicious. Go and buy yourself some of that. And we've got Angie Ponder-Reed. Hello, Angie's in the house, our beautiful relationships manager over in Atlanta. I miss you. You lovely lady, you. And credibility. Like, for example, credibility wise, there is nothing that Angie Reed does not know where it comes to health and wellness, and what oil do you need to put on your skin or in your mouth or apply to your body, rub on your feet, right? There is nothing that this woman doesn't know about doing that. And literally my whole family is speaking like Angie now. James came into the office today and said something, and Jen, she responded to him, and she'd already treated him. She'd already treated him because we've got all the oils that we bought from Angie. So her credibility is enormous. It all started from a conversation, and finally that brand advocacy, because that's what it leads to. When you really, let's look at this journey. If I don't have the answer, I can get it yet. Claire, let's just answer this first. I've had lovely messages from people I don't know saying they love my work and my videos. I love your work and your videos. I see them all the time. I was even in someone's gratitude practice. I couldn't believe it. It was so humbling. I really had no idea. Well, this is the thing. When you make an impact, you're not always going to know that you have. I remember sitting next to somebody, it must have been about 3 years ago. This was when I realised the power of my videos and the power of these. See, I could look at this and go, well, it looks like there's only 10 people watching. But I always show up, and the reason I show up is this. So I sit next to this guy once. Actually, his name was Guy. I sat next to him. I went to a Simon Colson event, and Guy's is he happens to be there, and I'm like, oh my god, I haven't seen him for like 3 years or something. So I sit down, and he leans over to me while the speaker's on stage, and he says, "That video you did about peer groups, brave." And I said, "Thank you." And I thought, you know what? I've known you for a long time. So I knew his name. Like, if you've liked anything or if you've commented on it, I would have known, and you haven't. And I spoke to him in the break and I said, oh, I'm so grateful that you watched that video. You know, what did you go away and do with it? He told me about this whole thing that he'd done as a result of watching that video. And he said, yeah, I love all your videos. And I thought, but you've never liked them or commented on them. Well, don't ever assume that your videos aren't reaching people's lives, that they're not making a difference, because I sat down and thought, well, if he's not responding, but he's making a difference to his life as a result of how I'm showing up, how many other hundreds or thousands of people is that happening to? Oh, thank you, Sam. You too. Oh, you lot are just bloody lovely, aren't you? Absolutely lovely. And I love this. This is such awesome time, you know, and this time that I show up for you is as much for me, because I get to see just the amazing amount of blossoming that is happening to you each and every week. So please, you know, even if you have just one person that likes it or comments on it, please never see that as a failure. See that as that person, you just put your one drop out there, and that person went and did something with it and made a difference to other people's lives as a result. And you have no idea how that's going to make that impact. So just keep making it. Just keep making it. Just keep showing up, because when you show up, you give other people permission to show up too. And so there you go. I will cover it very quickly just as a recap. So you're thinking, what is my brand strategy going to be for this product or this business or this service, right? So you're thinking, you know, where is this brand going to land? So the first thing is the journey. Think about the journey of it. What do you want that to be? Is it something that is going to be a legacy? Is it something that you're creating that's just going to make an impact on the lives in the moment? Go back to the beginning when we started this section and go through that piece, because I really covered journey in some detail to make sure you really understand and get the right training. I don't want to just kind of throw stuff at you and then you make assumptions about how to do it. So hopefully I'm going into it in enough depth for you. So your brand journey, your value, how you can communicate your value. Oh, bless you, Asha. Angie, I'm so happy that One Drop helped Jen, helped James. It helps everybody. Every time you show up, it gives permission to other people to show up too. So number 2, your brand value, how you communicate that. 3, being consistent with your messaging and how you're communicating that to other people. Be really consistent. Team. Get team involved. When you have that consistent message, people will go out and share it for you. So the people that are referring you are your team, just more so, actually, sometimes than the team that you actually have working for you that you're paying to be there. If people are sharing you and you're not even paying them to go do that, then you know you're doing something right. Okay. Number 5, your content. Put in all of this messaging in a way that really resonates with your ideal customers, and then converting that into literature, putting that out across all of the places that you're branding, your physical, visible branding, your website, your promotions, your postcards, your products with your branding on, your, you know, leaflets, flyers, things that you have. There you go. Got my lemon oil there, doTERRA. You're, you know, having it on all your products that you have. You know, this is a particular brand that I absolutely love, Rituals. Happy Mist. One of my favorite things. I always ask people to buy this for me for Christmas and birthdays because I can't get enough of it. I actually wear this as a perfume and it's a room spray. I love it so much. I've got the candles burning in this spray and everything. It's just amazing, right? So, you know, creating that literature, but having your brand in the same, or branding in the same place always, you know, not in the top left in one thing and middle in another. And, you know, that's not consistent. So, you know, how you show up is how you shine. It's how people remember you. Yay! Sam's coming to the event. I can't wait to see you in December. I'm so excited. Oh my gosh, you are going to meet some of the most amazing thought leaders I know, Sam. You are going to just, you're going to meet people. You're going to want to fly over and do business with them, and they're going to want to fly back and do business with you. I'm so excited for you. I'm so excited. Number 7, your brand channels. So thinking about how you're showing up and where you're showing up, because number 8 is how you're going to broadcast to them. And there's no point in you broadcasting if people that you're broadcasting to aren't listening so much, or if you've only got 4 out of 100. Well, that might be 4 lives that you're changing, but if you could change 100, do it where there's going to be 100 people there. And then number 9, your brand chat, the conversations you're having with those people, thinking about what are the most intelligent, creative, and relational conversations that you can have that create transactional conversations, but don't lead with that transactional conversation. Can be very off-putting. Number 10, your brand credibility, really building up that credibility. Credibility is a great strategy. Word of mouth is the fastest and cheapest way to get your brand out there and start making a difference and have other people hearing about you and doing business with you. So, you know, building up that credibility, it leads to brand advocacy, people that are going out there and sharing your message everywhere. Number 6, Laurie, was brand literature. What I'll do is I'll take a screenshot of this and I'll post it in here in the comments. So if you're watching this video after we've gone live, go and hunt through the comments, and I'll make sure that I take a screenshot of this so you can see the flow, and then you can use that. Actually, if you go to my website, I don't know if the words are the same here because I've updated this obviously. But if you go to my website, I think it's under Startup Resources, there's a drop-down menu. Click on Startup Resources, and there's a 12-week marketing strategy or a planning strategy, something like that. If you go and sign up for that, you'll get the training around this as well. And I am going to do an upgraded training. In fact, I think if you go into the Brand Builders Club, for those of you in the Brand Builders Club, if you go to Brand Builders Club, oh, thank you, Asan. If you go into the brandbuilders.club, for those of you that are brand builders, go into the online learning center, and if you go to, it's how to create a product. It's my one that I delivered. I'll find the wording out for you. I'll find exactly what it's called. But it was, you know, how to really build that tribe in a 12-week period, basically. And this whole training is in there. So I'll post that for you. But when you have this in place, when you, and hopefully, Asan, you'll understand when you see the graphic, it will make more sense to you. You'll be creating an amazing brand that is so trustworthy that people will want to buy from you. So if you look at how I did this, and I walk through this in a lot more depth in the product creation strategy that I've just mentioned there. If you look at how I did that, you know, my brand journey for that 12 weeks, I decided in 12 weeks I wanted to create £15,000 so that I could invest in my branding and my website. Because when I started this business, I didn't have those things in place. So I needed to create that. But I needed to create income to be able to invest in those things. So without a brand, without a website, without anything, I invested in a WordPress blog, which was free. I got a WordPress template to spruce it up so that it would look nicer. I think that was about $45. I bought my domain name, howtobuildabrand.org and .co.uk and .com, and then I bought my hosting for 3 months, which was or my hosting for the year, which over that 3 months was £10 a month. So for less than £100, certainly less than, probably around $100, I set that business up, and I used this whole strategy. So week 1, I wanted to focus on, okay, over the next 12 weeks, for me to have achieved a financial target of £15,000, what are some of the things I'm going to do to have achieved that? Okay, so I need to create a product. How am I going to create a product? Well, in week 2, I'm going to find out what value do other people need from me. So instead of me just making an assumption and creating something to sell, I'm going to use that week 2 or step 2, however fast you're wanting to do this. I used a week because I was also, building a business and doing things at the same time. So week 2, like, what value can I provide to other people? And then I can create my products based on the value that other people want me to provide. That way I could then be consistent. I started to then reach out to the friends that I had on Facebook and say, hey, I've just posted this video. I'd really appreciate if you could share it. And they were sharing it. So I had my team. By week 4, I had my team. Even though I didn't pay them and they weren't part of that, my friends were my team. I started creating content. I started creating the literature. I worked out which channels were the best channels for me to promote in. And I started broadcasting. I then went back to my friends, to my team, and said, hey, I've shared something else. I'd really appreciate it if you share it for me. And they started doing that. That started to create conversations. So my brand chat was really high. That created credibility. And I had brand advocates. By the point I got to, I think it was about week 9.5, those conversations were turned into conversions. And by week 12, I had £18,000 a month coming in from one product I created that I started to ask about in week 2, because I provided value that matched the value my customers needed. So this was a 12-week process. Like I say, you could make this a 12-step process. You could probably go end to end on this in a week if you've already got a tribe, if you've already got people that trust you. I didn't have any of that at the beginning when I started this. And the whole point of this conversation is tonight is, where do I start? If I don't have those things, if I don't have that tribe and I don't have a product yet, what's the best way for me to create it and get it selling as fast as possible? This is the way to do it. Claire, yes, it's not always what we think when we're a few steps ahead. Absolutely. Asan, what kind of brand, what do you sell? Well, we are predominantly, I guess, a training company. So we provide all the training and support around how you brand, build and expand your business. So there you go. I'm sure if you want to go through, have a hunt, or go to our website, howtobuildabrand.org, you'll find lots of information on there if you're building a business or wanting to expand what you're doing, or you've got an idea and you want that to reach the world, you want it to impact on people in a bigger way, then have a look. We've got tons of resources. There are thousands of articles on our website. I've got hundreds of videos on YouTube. By the way, if you're not subscribed to the How to Build a Brand YouTube channel, you could be missing a trick, because I'm posting content on there that I don't post anywhere else, even in the Brand Builders Club. So if you go to youtube.com/how to build a brand, you'll find all of our videos, and I've launched quite a number of videos. In fact, this Brand Breakthrough show, it gets posted up to the YouTube account every week now, so you can recap on any of the ones certainly that we've done over the last 3 or 4 weeks, because I've been getting them up now. Jordan has taken that over from me, and so yeah, if you go to youtube.com/how to build a brand, you will find our channel. So please go and subscribe and share it with others. We want to make sure that we are providing content and adding value to you in the way that you need it. Asha, you're amazing. You make it look so easy. Thank you. Well, it is when you've done it a few times. It isn't easy necessarily when you're doing it blind, or like I was trying this. I hadn't done this before. I'd done it for clients. I'd never done it for myself. All of a sudden, when you're doing it for yourself, you're emotionally attached to it. So now it becomes super important, right? Well, yeah, and repurposing, Claire, that's a really, really good one, because what I do is not only do I put up the full show, I also break it down. So if there are key points that I've mentioned during this that I think are worth, somebody just really getting to the heart of that, then I will clip that out. So, I just use iMovie. I do it myself. It's one of the things that I'm not going to be doing myself when I have my designer in place. You should anchor as well. I'm not quite sure what that means. Anchor, TV anchor. I will take it in that in that way. And we have the Brand Builders Club TV is launching, so look out for that. If you're a Brand Builders Club member and you want to be, thank you. I did take it in that way, so that's good. At least I read it in the right way. If you're a Brand Builders Club member and you want to deliver content to the world and you want us to market that out to our enormous list, then let me know that you're interested in having a TV slot, because that's going to be going live and I'm very excited about it. We've got so many things that are going on here at head office that are so exciting that they're all bubbling away. Just bear with us. We're a little bit behind on launching Brand Builders TV, but we are launching, so do watch out. Carol, being able to test out ideas and language in Brand Builders Club and Accountability Group has really helped me. Awesome. And that is what it's there to do, because you don't need to be in business on your own. It doesn't need to be a lonely journey. And you can really make the world of difference by having the right people around you. So Claire, I'm going to send you the link to come to the 3-day Vision, Voice and Visibility Conference in December. I really hope you can make it. It's just a room full of my favourite people that I love being around, that you will love being around, and we're just gonna explode 2019 together. I mean, it is. I've seen the content that's going to be delivered. I've been meeting with all of the amazing sponsors as well, so watch out, because I'm going to be interviewing the sponsors for the awards party. So we have some great nominees. Look out for the awards that are launching. Brand Builders TV is launching. We've got a load of stuff that's all happening. It's just going to go bish bash bosh. So look out for those things. Angie, thank you. youtube.com/how to build a brand. Perfect. Please go and subscribe to that and share it with your friends. Anybody that's building a business and wants to expand their brand, there's some great little tips in there, and you'll see how I do things. So just model it on your own channel and start doing that. Repurpose your content, chop it up, use it in different ways. You'll see there's some videos that I've started putting out. There was one, it was only 4 seconds, and I called it 4-second branding lesson or something like that, right? People that want to consume stuff, they want to consume it quickly. They've got a question, they want an answer. Boom. Just show up for it. Give them exactly what they need. The dates, Claire, for the Vision, Voice and Visibility Conference is the 6th of December from 6 till 9 p.m. is like a meet and greet. It's a, yay, Chris, you just subscribed. Thank you. It's a meet and greet. We've got extra bonus training that we're delivering on that night. All the people that are flying in, I think, from what I've seen of the guest list, there's actually not that many places left. From what I've seen, I think there's 6 places left. From what I've seen of the guest list, I would estimate that around 70 to 75% of the people that are coming are going to be there from overseas. So many of the people that are coming to the conference are actually flying in. So, you know, or they're traveling down from different parts of the UK and just staying at the hotel because they don't live in London or near Gatwick. So yeah, so we're meeting up on the Thursday night at the Holiday Inn in Gatwick Airport. That's important that you do that. It's the Gatwick Airport one. We've done it at Gatwick Airport because so many people are flying in. So that's going to be a superb night. So we've got some extra training, like I say, that's involved in that. And then the actual event starts from the 7th to the 9th. And remember, and just book out all 3 days. Just commit to being there morning, noon and night for all 3 of those days if you can be, because the networking that's happening, there's partying that we're doing. We're good at partying. And especially on that Saturday night, Saturday the 8th, you know, awards dinner, red carpet, black tie, everybody getting dressed up. Asha, you subscribed, thank you. You know, and just, you know, it's an amazing opportunity for us to celebrate ourselves, celebrate each other, celebrate all the achievements that we've made, no matter how small, no matter how big. Everybody is there. We're all on an equal playing field, just celebrating each other's achievements over the past 12 months and setting new goals for our achievements in 12 months from now. So that has been today's show. We've gone well over, but I wanted to make sure that you had that value. And I want to hear what you're doing with your strategies. And I'll certainly see those of you that are coming in December. I'll see you there, and I'll get to work with you on your strategy personally, as well as some of our amazing people. So if you want more details, if you haven't got the details for that event yet, like I say, there's 6 places left. There might actually only be, and this isn't a sales thing, there might actually only be 2 places left, because I was at an event last night and 2 couples have said that they want to come. So that's 4 people in one hit, you know, just 2 people coming and bringing their partner with them. So yeah. I can't wait either. So make sure you get your ticket, because if you haven't got your ticket, then that means that your name isn't on the list. And we will be at capacity as soon as we hit 80. That's it. Can't have any more because of the amount of speakers that I've got. Will take us up to the 100 that we've got. So take care. Have an amazing week. I am sending you so much love. I will post the picture of this for you so that you can see, and I will see you same time next week if I don't see you before. Mwah!